lawmakers are ready to vote on the Biden administration's $1.9 trillion debacle of a COVID-19 relief bill, even though it does very little to address COVID relief. Joining us now to talk more about that is California Congressman Devin Nunes. Congressman, good morning. Welcome into the show.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Nice to have you on, sir. I'm wondering if you expect any changes in the final vote count for this bill, or do you expect it to pass again in a tight vote like it did a couple weeks ago?
Well, I think you have to remember, first and foremost, this is a $2 trillion slush fund. We saw the Democrats do this play call back in 2009. So the Obama team knows exactly what they're doing. And I say Obama team because that's, I think, who's running the White House today.
Right.
So what they'll start to do now is there's probably 10 to 20 Democrat holdouts right now. So they will go in now. There's meetings going on. There's phone calls. There's threats. They're dangling money, carrots and sticks. And ultimately they will get the vote. So only the bravest ones will actually hold out to the very end. Those will likely be punished. Some of those will take it to the very end and try to cut a fat deal to get some boondoggle project for their district or additional money for their district. That's what's happening right now. This is unprecedented to spend $2 trillion with not one Republican vote in the House and not one Republican vote in the Senate.
Yeah, and I'm tired of hearing that Americans are excited about this. Americans are excited about getting $1,400 checks if they make less than $75,000 a year. And that's the only reason. But I promise you that the majority of Americans have no idea some of the ridiculousness that is the spending, that is the egregious spending that's in this bill. I wanted to talk to you about the recall effort of Gavin Newsom in the state of California right now. They reportedly have over 2 million signatures. That's an unbelievable number. Do you think there's a chance that Newsom is actually forced to step down or that he's thrown out of office? And then do you think there is a one Republican that other Republicans can get behind in the state of California?
Yeah, so I think it's important to understand how the process works for your viewers. So first, there will be, once the signatures are counted and verified, and my guess is that's going to be delayed because we have one-party Socialist Democrat rule in California. So they will use every lever of power to delay this as long as possible. Newsom's now on a tour of the state like he never has been before. I think he's been through my part of the Central Valley, virtually every week the last few weeks. We hadn't seen him in basically a year.
Right.
So he's on a publicity tour. So they're going to try to take this as long as possible, hope that things get opened up. They're now rewarding schools to get back into school. So he's essentially trying to distance himself enough from the French Laundry incident that, most politicians, that would be a killer, at least Republicans or conservatives, be a killer move. So what will happen is this vote will probably be in November, December, is ultimately what's going to happen. There'll be two votes. The first vote will be a yes or no question. Do you want to recall Newsom? If yes, he's gone and he exits stage left. The second question will be, who do you want to replace him? And the key will be for Republicans to have one good candidate. You asked me who are the candidates, the top-notch candidates we have. Right now, I would say we have two. One is the mayor of San Diego, Kevin Faulconer. The other is the former head of the Director of National Intelligence, Ambassador to Germany, Rick Grenell. One of those guys will have to get out of the race at some point. I think it's fine right now. They're positioning themselves. And then the Democrats, the key to watch here, Rob, will be, will a Democrat, prominent Democrat, or more than one, actually get on the ballot? Because remember, Newsom is either in or out. That's it.
Right. Yeah, it's fascinating. By the way, Rick Grenell claims that Susan Rice is actually the current president right now in the White House. Fascinating comments he made on Newsmax not long ago. I wanted to ask you about the Socialist Democratic Party, since you mentioned this. So Gavin Newsom, we've got in California, we've got Andrew Cuomo in New York. I don't think this is a coincidence. It seems to me like Democrats, who we know will eat their young, are clearing the runway for Kamala Harris in 2024. Think that's accurate?
Yeah, I do. I think that's exactly what's happening. Newsom's maybe a little bit of a different situation. He's kind of stepped in a lot of things on his own, but for sure, I think they're taking advantage of this to get him out of the way. But Cuomo, I think this is, look, this is not, none of the issues surrounding Cuomo have been a secret. People are acting like, oh my gosh, there was a problem with nursing homes. Well, if you watch, any type of honest news media for the last year, We knew that, and a lot of us had talked about that. Many of the New Yorkers, the members of Congress from New York, were talking about this for a year, that this was happening. So that's not news, but now all of a sudden they're acting like it's news. I also highly doubt that all these women that are coming forward, that people didn't know, people in the media, people in Democratic circles didn't know that this guy, had an issue dealing with women, right? And look, he's innocent till proven guilty. But there's a lot of women that are out there, right? So looks like an issue. So Kamala Harris, she's not popular. She wasn't even able to finish a primary. She had to drop out of the primary because she was going to get last. I jokingly say she was running 10th in the primary, and that was only because there were 10 people in the primary.
Right.
So she had to get out. Newsom, I think this is a good opportunity for her to get Newsom off the stage. Because she's trying to figure out a way to have a clear field so that essentially, like the Politburo system works, there would be no competition for her, and then she's just anointed. And my guess is, as long as the tech oligarchs are there and they're censoring us, they're going to run the campaign just like they did last time, which is they'll just hide out and they'll poison people, put poison on their phones, and hope that they can survive this. And nobody will learn that Newsom wasn't wearing a mask. Nobody will learn that Fauci is, in direct opposite to what the CDC is saying today.
Yeah, literally.
Or said yesterday.
I am so tired of Dr. Anthony Fauci, and I think you make a good point. If it was, say, Ron DeSantis, who's one of the heroes, at least the hero governors of this whole disaster, that is COVID-19, I think had he been eating at French Laundry or Nobu, or you pick your restaurant, this would be, front page of the New York Times every day for a week. But because it's Gavin Newsom, nobody wants to talk about it.
Exactly. Right until they'd have to try to drive his numbers down as much as possible. That's all I've heard for the last year, Rob, is just any Republican state, any red state that was open. Remember, it was all about super spreaders, right? That was the big deal, super spreaders. Well, look, the facts are very clear. The states that had the hardest lockdowns and had multiple mask mandates and kept the schools closed
have been hit the hardest.
In many cases, they've lost the most people.
Yeah. Congressman, we appreciate the time. Come back and see us. Great having you on. That is Congressman Devin Nunes of the 22nd District of California. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.